Hey guys, the main thing we're looking at today is trying to figure out the system that is actually transferring energy to the plates to get them to move. Right, so I know you guys have been kind of wondering, well, what actually allows the plates to move, or what can even transfer enough energy to get the plates to move. So we're going to be looking at that system today. But to do so, we have to do demonstrations. And since I am not here to show you guys these demonstrations, you're actually just going to watch videos of them, which should make things a little bit easier. Throughout the video, I am going to have you guys kind of stop and answer questions kind of as we're going along. The main thing that you have to look at answering is recording observations, especially during the demonstrations. But I'm also going to have you guys kind of reflect on why, or not why, but I'm going to have you guys reflect on how this is actually going to help you in kind of the learning and the stuff we've been doing so far. So again, the main thing we're trying to look at is just being able to identify the system that's transferring energy to the plates to allow them to actually move. So the first demonstration we're going to look at, this is actually the teacher setup video, but I figured this could be valuable for you guys as well. So again, the first thing I'm going to have you guys set up or look at in here is just recording observations. You've done something very similar to this in 7th grade with the weather unit, so it shouldn't be too unfamiliar to you. So again, pay attention to what happens to kind of the red and the blue areas. It's just giving you what you need. Right, so they're adding red food coloring to the warm area or the hot water. They're going to add blue to the cold water just so you can kind of see the difference between them. If we don't add food coloring, you're not going to see what you need to see. And they're just putting the aluminum foil over the top. They're going to poke holes in them. Right, so they're going to set the hot water and the cold water, and they're inside of the container is just room temperature water, which you need that for this to actually work. So you can kind of already see what's happening to the hot water. You should remember this from 7th grade, right? We did something with this in looking at the atmosphere. We actually had to use water to represent the fluid of the air. But for us, we're actually going to use the water to represent the mantle, which is kind of a big deal because we're looking at, well, what's happening inside of the mantle to actually allow these plates to move. Okay, let's go ahead and go to the next one. So this is looking at our next video. This one, again, so that one you should be seeing, hold on a second, I'm going to pause this. Oops, sorry about that. With that previous video, you should have been seeing that, you know, the hot water is rising, the cold water is sinking. Again, last year when we did atmosphere, that was very easy to see that, you know, warm air rises and cold air sinks. This one is kind of similar to what you're going to see, but they're going to do something a little bit different. And they're actually just going to put, so what he's doing is he's adding just blue food coloring, or sorry, not blue, red food coloring to kind of the center, and he's going to add the blue to the outside. They have cups underneath them just to kind of support and lift it up. And then when he's done, he's going to set a container of hot water right in the center of kind of what we see here. Some questions I'm going to kind of ask you in a little bit is, you know, when he sets this container or this cup of hot water, you know, what is that cup of hot water actually representing? And then you can kind of see what actually takes place as well. Okay, so this is going to be the hot water. if they don't show, they should show what's going to happen. Okay, so it takes a little minute to actually kind of see, but you can see, you know, this area is getting heated, it's rising. Then you also should start seeing, you should be paying attention to what's happening here to the blue, right? So you can kind of see the blue is getting drawn almost into the center. You should be seeing this sinking. So you kind of get this little current that's getting created on both sides. Right? So again, I'll have you record some observations. Let's go ahead and go to the next one. The next video is kind of the same type of thing. So you're going to see very similar convection current, kind of like what we just did, but this is what I wanted. This one. We'll do this one first.
Get ready for one of the most hypnotic things you'll ever see in a science class.
OMG.
Have you heard that heat rises? Well, here you can see it's true for yourself. I've got some food coloring on the bottom of a plastic container, and there's a hot mug right underneath the red food coloring. As it's heated, the water rises. But I want you to look closely and notice something else. The blue on the sides is being drawn in. You can see it better when I speed it up. Here's the thing I want you to remember. When water moves from one place, it doesn't leave a void behind. Water from somewhere else has to move in to take its place. That's why you can see the blue food coloring coming in from the sides.
And for us, with kind of what we're doing, this mug is looking at representing the core of the Earth, right? So this is looking at almost like the system that's actually transferring the energy or transferring kind of like the thermal energy or the heat, right? Because we have to have a system that does that, or else this fluid, which we're looking at the water being the mantle, it's not going to move, right? If you don't have energy being transferred from some other system, you're not going to get this moving. So, you know, this is going to be transferring energy. So you have, you know, the core of the Earth transferring energy to the mantle, and you know, obviously the mantle is going to heat up. We know this idea that, you know, once this area is getting heat up, you have the hot air rising, cold air sinking, or in this case, the hot mantle rising, the cold mantle sinking, and then you get these convection currents that take place. Now, we're going to look at how this actually relates to the plates in a minute, so we haven't quite got that answer, but mainly just as of now, you have energy being transferred from the core of the Earth, and that energy gets transferred to the mantle, and it's going to cause the temperature of the mantle to increase, but also you're going to start seeing those convection currents being created, and you know, the molecules of the mantle are going to be moving, right? And then you have they're going to be rising and they're going to be sinking. Okay, let's see what else he has to say.
You can see it better from above. Watch that blue food coloring get drawn in. Do you see it? The hot water reaches the top, and then it gets pushed toward the edges by more hot water rising from underneath it. As it goes out to the edges, it starts to get cool, and cool water sinks just as hot water rises. And if you watch really carefully, you can see it sink and get drawn back toward the middle. These are called convection currents, and you see them moving here in two big ovals. They're one of the major things that drive ocean currents, especially.
Okay, he's talking about how this relates to ocean currents. You could even look at these as currents that take place in the atmosphere or currents that take place in the mantle, which is what we're focusing on, right? And really any fluid can go through convection currents, whether it's in air, whether it's air, or whether it's a gas, or whether it's liquid like mantle or water, right? Anything can really go through those convection currents as long as it gets heated and, you know, the hot fluid rises and the cold fluid sinks. The next video, this one's